Thanks for visiting Patient Weather today. I'm meteorologist Al Peterlin. I'd like to talk about the weather health stress for March 5th, 2026. We do keep additional graphics at tpatw.com. We maintain a Patient Weather storefront on Amazon. Amazon purchases made through our storefront support the activities of Patient Weather. Looking at the surface map for Thursday, the 5th, it does look like a rather unsettled weather pattern with a low pressure center sitting up there in South Dakota, a cool front hanging all the way across Wyoming into Colorado down to Arizona, and a warm front stretching all the way from Chicago through probably Cleveland into Pittsburgh and down to Delaware. Lots of unsettled weather, snow in the Rockies, unsettled weather showers, maybe even thunder showers up the plains, across the middle Mississippi Valley into the Ohio Valley and into the Northeast. Looking at the vitality index, which is that measure of all of those individual weather elements that might be of concern for health issues, and you can see that much of the West has some activity going on. But looking at Southern California, one issue, the Four Corners another, and then in the Central Plains, one significant area. And there's still an area hanging on up there in New England. Looking at pressure change, which fine lines or fine tunes our look, we have rising pressure, Washington, Oregon, into Idaho and western Montana. We have rising pressure still lingering in Massachusetts, New Hampshire, and Maine. However, the really center of interest is that falling pressure stretching from New Mexico into Colorado and up the plains from Texas through Oklahoma, Nebraska, going all the way up and through the Dakotas. Looking at temperature change, very interesting. We have cold temperatures coming back into Utah, picking up some of the Rockies. We have rising temperatures in the Central Plains, and then falling temperatures only holding on up there in the extreme Northeast. The dew point temperature map is a lot more interesting. If you look at the Texas Panhandle into Oklahoma Panhandle into east or western Kansas, you'll see there's an area of sharply falling dew points and ahead of it sharply rising dew points. And with lifted index or instability there in that western Texas up into Kansas area, should be a very interesting day for that particular part of the country. The vapor pressure very much showing the same thing with sharp rises, sharp falls right in that southern Central Plains. And then finally, we will take a look at the change in the oxygen availability for the atmosphere. And you'll see we have a lot or a big area of migraine risk stretching from Southern California across into Arizona, going sharply through Nevada, picking up across Utah, stretching up into Wyoming, Idaho, Oregon, Washington, and across Montana, barely making it into very westernmost portions of North Dakota. We also have that risk of migraine here in the eastern northern portions of New England, Massachusetts, New Hampshire, and Maine. But we have a risk of asthma and arthritis with that unsettled weather pattern up the plains, especially across Kansas, down through Oklahoma, up into the southernmost sections of Minnesota. We also have that risk of asthma and arthritis rather sharp across northern Indiana, Ohio, into West Virginia, and down to the northern fringes of Virginia. Thanks for visiting the patient and the weather. Your comments are appreciated. And if you hurt, tell us where you're located.